the new Staccato C. First 15 rounds, 15 yards, 124 grain spear, CCI spear. Find the sweet spot of the glasses and see where this will go at 15 yards. Gun is well lubed. Felt like I pulled that one high. Is it going to be out with the old and in with the new? Well, stay tuned, we'll find out. I have been spending a lot of time with the new Staccato C over the last week or so, and actually I've even had a couple of students of mine fire the thing just to build up some range time with it. Right now we're probably north of 400 rounds, which again is not near 1,000 round burn down or anything, but I'm well beyond my initial evaluation to make sure that it's going to be functioning. Put a lot of different kinds of ammunition through it, including a couple of magazines of my carry ammunition, which is the Federal 124 grain Law Enforcement HST, and this has not missed a beat on anything. I cleaned it and lubed it when I first took it out of the box, haven't touched it since, haven't even put any oil on it, and it's still running. In fact, it still seeps a little oil out of the back. I did clean it up for the filming today, and it's working good. But is it still going to replace the C, the old C? A couple of differences I didn't point out, I think, in the original video. One, you'll notice a big difference here on the side. The new C has an external extractor. A lot of companies are going to those. Wilson's even going to the external on some guns. Internal extractor on the old gun. A little easier to tune the external extractor. We pointed out some of the other differences before. One other difference I noticed, though, that the trigger guard, which I think I mentioned before on the old C, a little higher undercut than it is on the new C, and the new C is a more robust aluminum trigger. This is the aluminum part of the hybrid type frame. The old one just had a place for your fingers on the front. How many people still shoot with fingers on the front? Not a big deal, but it is more robust and is smooth on the front of the trigger guard, so not a big deal there. I'm not going to get into all the differences I talked about before. Check the original video up here if you're interested. One other thing I did notice in comparing these guns and doing some shooting time with them, I shoot with a high grip, which is what you normally should be doing with a 1911 anyway, and as I put my thumb on top of the safety, while the safety is still in the engaged position, on the old C, there's actually a little bit of a hot spot right there. As soon as I flip the safety down, it's gone, so when I'm firing, there's no noticeable difference at all. On the new C, with a fatter frame, you'd think that there'd be an issue, but really there isn't. The way they contoured everything on the beaver tail, the grip safety, and the manual thumb safety, even when my thumb is sitting high, there's no hot spot there, on or off. I've never had a problem with the ambidextrous part being bumped off. So far it's working just fine. You'll also notice between the original video and this that this is now wearing an optic. So let me talk about optics for just a real quick second. It doesn't come with any optics plates. I think I mentioned that in the original video. You can get them off the Staccato website. Mine came very fast. And I went with a Loophole Delta Point Pro for a couple of reasons. Number one, I had one of my Staccato C2, which, by the way, is decommissioned right now. So I put the Loophole Delta Point Pro on here. But the other reason is $50 worth of installation material, if you will, for the Delta Point Pro, because it's actually cut for that. I'm going to roll some stills in here, and you'll see that the slide is actually deeply cut for the specific DPP profile, so there's no forward, no backward movement. The screws themselves just hold the optic down onto the slide. It doesn't have any shear strength or shear movement on the screws, because it's got those 4 alignment lugs. And it also the kit comes with the rear sight, which is dovetailed right into the optic itself. There's no adjustable area for windage or elevation on the, well, you can do a little bit of elevation. It's got 2 set screws that will hold it, and again, those all come in the kit, so you can do a little bit of elevation adjustment, but I didn't need to. Another area where you'll see the difference between the old and the new is the front sight on the old one is substantially lower, but then again that co-witnesses well with the rear sight for that comes with the sight plate for the RMSC footprint. sights a little bit higher on the new, and again, Cole witnesses very well with this. I thought when I first put the optic on, I thought that we're going to be having a significantly different point of impact, but no, the dot is aimed right on top of the sight when I got my sights lined up. So the iron sights, optic are all right where it belongs. As you saw at the very beginning, the very first shots on this, and I continued to shoot and shoot well. Once I put the optic on, again, I just did a basic co-witness static, and I was within an inch of my aim point with the just bare sighting it and worked fine. I do like the grip texture better on this. It's much better for wet hands, much better than the old. It's not so abrasive as it's going to tear up my clothing, but it does give me a better feel on my hands. The barrel itself has a slight reverse crown, is almost flush with the slide, whereas on the other one it was not. The plug area for the recoil spring is nicely fitted to the underside of the barrel, where again there was just a gap there. Not a functional difference, but enough of a difference to again aesthetically pleasing. A little bit of a taper on the front, which again makes it easier to holster. I'll come back to holsters in a couple of minutes. And the fit and finish back here on the frame to slide is absolutely excellent. Again, on the old, of course, you can see the nicely fitted finish. The extractor, it fits very well, but the ejector cut on the slide on the old is just a little bit less precise than it is on the new. They've done a really fine job with this, even though it's a little bit bigger. And again, we talked about holsters before where they had some difficulties, but we will come back to that. All in all, this is, yeah, I gotta like it. Am I going to carry it though? Is it 3 ounces heavier loaded? But then again, that's with almost double the ammunition capacity. All right, so before we get into talking about carrying and holsters and so forth, I do want to mention the one final fairly huge difference. Again, this has the optional DLC coating on the barrel, optional cuts here, optional straight trigger versus curved. Those are options that are certainly nice to have, but they also build up the price. But the barrel is also fluted on the underside, and theoretically it's going to make that more reliable. So it's, even though you've got the area up here with the lightening cuts on the slide where you may get more junk in there, and debris and so forth, those flutes the flat spot on the bottom of the barrel to allow for the recoil, the single recoil spring to function in there. All of those theoretically can help if you get debris in to keep the gun functioning reliably. And again, we're over 400 rounds now, and I'm not going to do a mud test, but it's been 100% reliable. All right, as to carrying, we mentioned some issues before. We talked about the CompTech holster where I had to tune it up a little bit to make it fit. I dug out the black point holster for my Staccato C2, which also fits the original C fairly nicely, and to my surprise, it also fits the new C very, very nicely. Didn't have to touch it at all. But I wanted an inside the waistband. I wasn't going to modify one that I had, so I reached out to Tenacor. Actually, I reached out to them by their website. I didn't tell them who I was, anything else. I just did a purchase like you would, like anybody else would, for the Tenacor Certum 3 inside the waistband holster, specifically with the clips that I like. And it came in just a few days. Really good service on that. And it fits perfectly for the new C. The old C, a little bit loose, but hey, I could probably crank it down and still work if I needed to. So really close on the option on the holsters, but Tenacor does have an option available for it on fairly quick ship, which I really, really do like. So yeah, I'm going to start carrying it. All right, enough about that. Let's roll in some additional range footage. New Staccato C. We're going to start out at 12 yards, 124 grain blazer. And let's just see what it'll do. You know we have to go ask Alice. And we'll go left to right. And okay, how about a 3-inch down below? Can I get another one? Alright, I can do that. Let's go red prairie dog. Silhouette. There it is. Coming up on 300 rounds out of this so far. Gotta say I love it. Let's just start with the yellow and gray raccoon over there on the right. Black crow. Oh, come on. There we go. My head flipper post broke. Still have to replace it. How about the red woodchuck? Green Prairie Dog. There we go. 8-inch, white or black with a yellow, red center. There we go. Come on. I did much better in warm-up. Come on. Too much caffeine this morning. 8-inch. 12-inch next. 6-inch hidden way off there to the left. There we go. What have we got left here? 3 rounds left. Let's go for the center of the red silhouette. Can I get it back? Last shot, still didn't get it. I'm not giving up. There we go. The only thing I have, I have the silhouette, silver with the green, and there's a 10-inch just barely poking out behind the red silhouette. There we go. All right, I'm happy with that. Let's take it out to 50. We will start with the silhouette. 12-inch high right, white with the green center. No, 16-inch, 16-inch. 12-inch below it. 10-inch to the left of the 16. 8-inch below that. Come on. I think I got the shepherd's hook behind it. That's what it looked like. Let's try that again. Back to the 8-inch. Finally, all right. Let's go over there to the 6. It's barely hidden in the weeds on the left. I don't know, the camera picked that up? Yeah, camera might get it. Just to the left of the silhouette. There's a 6-inch hidden in the weeds. Can I get it? Too much caffeine. There we go. Okay, I can live with that. All right, I did say originally, is I going to be out with the old, in with the new, and I'm going to, let's say, give the old one a vacation for a little while. I'm not necessarily going to retire by good old C. I am going to put the new C into my carry regime for the at least for the next few weeks, and I'm doing some training down at Hillsdale College, and I will be carrying it down there, and we'll see if in fact this is going to be working for carry. The only concern I really have at this point, the weight doesn't bother me, but the additional length and width on the grip, is that going to be an issue when I start concealing? We'll find out. Stay tuned. All right, thanks for staying with me while we looked at the new Staccato C.